Hey everyone, this is Dark Knight from Method Gaming, and welcome to another Shop Titans video. So this video is going to be a real quick overview of the Lost City of Gold, which is the special event that comes up once every 3 or 4 weeks, so once a month, give or take. And I'm actually making this video for my guildies because they had some questions about it, and it takes a while to write everything down in the guild chat, so I figured I'm just going to shoot a video. But hopefully this is useful to anybody who sees it. So the Lost City of Gold is basically a quest, and you can find it over here on the quest page. And it usually shows up as the first quest over here when it's available. And what you can get is you get gold bars instead of quest components that you normally would from the other quests. And it's a bit different from other quests because if you take a look at, let's say, this one, uh, for this one you can choose 3 difficulties: easy, medium, and hard. But for the Lost City of Gold, you actually have several difficulties. Don't remember how many exactly, but it's several. So you can actually send stronger parties, weaker parties, whatever you've got, depending on the level you're at right now. Uh, you've got different options. So it's not like just for end game players. You can be just starting out and still take part and still benefit from it. In fact, when I started out, there was an event up, and I managed to partake pretty much as soon as I started out with a bunch of heroes. So it was, it was something that I could enjoy right away, and I think that everybody else who's got at least a bunch of heroes is going to be able to do. So, like I said, the different difficulties for the main dungeon that you're going to see here are several. You can send up to five heroes for each one. And of course, sending more heroes means that you're going to be able to up the difficulty, and also it's going to take less time. Because just like with regular quests, if you send fewer people or just one person, you're gonna be looking at a much longer completion time for the quest. Whereas if you send a full squad, whether it's 3 people, 4 or 5, depending on the quest, you're going to complete it much faster. And this is actually important because this event is where you want to use your where are they? Phoenix feathers and where are they? There we go. Stamina drinks. So the Phoenix feather is basically it heals all characters. So what you want to do is kind of send out everybody to do quests. Make sure they finish at about the same time, and when they come back, instead of waiting for them to rest, you can just use the Phoenix feather to heal everybody and just send them right out again. So what that means is you're not actually worried about resting times for your characters at that point, as long as you have Phoenix feathers. Same goes for stamina drinks, but this heals only one character, whereas the Phoenix feather heals everybody. So depending on what you have available and depending on how many heroes you have currently resting, you could choose to go for the Phoenix Feather or just use some stamina drinks. If you got only a couple of heroes resting and everybody else is ready to go, then you don't need to use Phoenix Feather to just heal up 2 or 3 heroes. So it's very important, and that makes it also important to make sure that you're sending larger parties so that they complete the quest faster. So you can use the feather or stamina drink and send them right back out. Of course, this entirely depends on your situation and how many characters you've got, how many heroes, champions, and so on. So that is something, unfortunately, I can't really give you much advice on in terms of how many champs to send out. What I can tell you is that for every 3, at least in the beginning, for every 3 quests, normal quests that you do for the Lost City of Gold, you're gonna get an unlock for the boss. And the boss is slightly different because, first off, the boss starts easy, so you'll be able to beat him easily, but every time you unlock the boss, the difficulty goes up. You can actually change or control the difficulty. The more times you beat the boss, the more difficult it becomes, and also the more rewards you get. Usually you have a chance of getting keys for the gold chests, which you can get during the event. Just see, there we go. So this is basically the type of chest that you normally get from this event, and you'll be getting a lot of those, I think. At least more than you would normally get keys for. So you probably have some stashed if you've already done this event. So you'll be getting chests from the regular dungeons from the boss, but I think you only have a chance of getting a key from the boss. That's why it's kind of a good thing if you can beat more of the levels, and the more the difficulty gets higher, the better chances you have of actually getting a key. The percentage chance increases. So that's something to keep in mind. Like I said, you unlock the boss stage for every 3 completions of the regular stage. So what you could do is you could send out your team um, to do 3 of the same quest for about the same time. When they return, and when you use a Phoenix Feather, you're gonna have the boss fight unlocked. You can send a team to do the boss fight and send the remainder to do quests. And if you can time it so that you do the boss fight before you finish the boss fight before you do the other quests, the other 2 quests or 3 quests or however many you sent out will count towards the next boss unlock. Now, if, for example, you can't figure out how to efficiently unlock the boss, don't worry too much about it. As long as you're doing the quests consistently and you're doing a lot of them, you'll be unlocking the boss. And eventually, especially if you're early game, it's going to become too difficult to complete. So eventually, you're gonna hit a wall, so to speak, and even though the boss will be up, you just won't be able to send anybody to beat it because everybody will have those frowny faces that they normally have. Let me just show you what this looks like. So there you go. They're going to look like this because the boss will be too difficult at that point. And of course, at that point, you should just continue sending your heroes to the regular dungeon to accumulate gold bars. The thing about gold bars is you can't really use them to craft anything, but you can actually get rewards, and this is for the entire guild. So everybody in the guild participates, and the idea is to get as much participation as possible so that you can get the highest reward possible. Another thing which is important is if you don't participate, if you don't do enough dungeon completions and get enough gold bars, you won't be able to get the higher level, the higher tier rewards, even if the guild has already unlocked them. So, for example, usually there's what you would call it. There's an icon here that you can click and it can show you how far the guild has progressed, what sort of rewards have been unlocked, and what you can collect. So if you haven't done much of the questing or not at all, whenever you check the prizes, you'll see some unlocked maybe, but when you click on them, it'll tell you that you haven't contributed enough to actually get a prize. So you can't just sit this one out. You have to actually participate in order to get the rewards, which I think is cool because it encourages people, everybody in the guild, to participate and not just wait for people to complete it without doing actually anything, just getting the rewards. So I think this is good, and it's a fun event. It usually goes on throughout the entire weekend, so that would be Saturday and Sunday. Um, Not sure exactly when it starts. Usually it starts in my during my night when I sleep. So when I wake up, it's already up, but I don't really know exactly the time. But it probably says it on somewhere on the forums or Discord or whatever. So that's kind of it. Just focus on sending out or rather spreading your heroes between missions. So if you have like only 3 missions unlocked, make sure you send all your heroes within those 3 missions to make sure that you're doing the best you can with the resources that you have, meaning characters and available quests. And of course, like I said, even though it's a good idea to keep in mind that every 3 quests you're going to unlock the boss, at least in the beginning, and to sort of plan around it, it's perfectly fine if you just do the quests and not worry so much about when you're going to beat the boss and just go for it whenever it comes up. Because, like I said, especially early game, you're not going to be able to get too far with the boss in terms of completions. Eventually, it's going to be too difficult. Let me see if I'm forgetting anything important. Let's see. So we talked about the difficulty, we talked about the gold bars, we talked about how everybody contributes to this event from the guild who participate. I mentioned the strategy where using Phoenix feathers and stamina drinks is important to keep everybody going over and over. I think this is it. I think I'm forgetting something, but I think this is the gist of it, and I believe this will be at least the basis of what you will need in order to figure out this event. And trust me, it's not that difficult to figure out. You run it a bunch of times, and that's going to be it. Actually, I just remembered what I was going to say. I kept saying that every three dungeons unlocks the boss, at least in the beginning. What I meant by that was eventually, when you complete several stages of the boss, you're gonna need four dungeon completions to unlock the next boss. And I'm guessing I haven't gotten that far yet, actually, in the last event. But I'm guessing that after a while, it takes five completions, and maybe even more. But like I said, this is probably for end game players and not something you should be worrying about just now. So, alright guys, hopefully that was useful, and I'll see you guys in the guild chat. If you have any questions, just let me know in the guild chat. And for anybody else who's not part of the guild, of course, if you got questions, just leave a comment down below the video, and I'll be very happy to answer any questions. I might do a larger guide when the event actually comes out, but I'll be moving this weekend, so I might not be able to. I'll be able to play, but I might not be able to actually record videos. So keep an eye out, but if it doesn't come out this weekend, I might just leave it for the next event. Alright, thanks everyone. Feel free to subscribe, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.